Hey, it's Ryan, and welcome to episode 8 of the Ryan Ingraham Show. And in today's episode, I'm going to be reviewing the NFL 2020 Conference Championship. So, before I say anything else, I'll start by saying that when I predicted the divisional round, my luck wasn't with me. I predicted only 1 out of 4 games correctly, but I did get unlucky on the Baltimore-Tennessee game. Most people predicted Baltimore to win. And then on the Chiefs game, I predicted the Texans to win, but the Chiefs, their offense is just too high-powered. They're just too good. They were just able, they were at a huge deficit. I think they were down 24-0, and then they just dropped 51 points in 3 quarters. So yeah, the Chiefs their offense is really put up some points. Anyways, as for the conference championships, we'll start with the AFC. So this game was the Titans versus the Chiefs. And the Titans, and the reason why I said review is because I'm recording this after the games were played. But yeah, so the Chiefs and the Titans actually were one of the hottest teams coming into this game. They took it down the Patriots, and then they took down the Ravens. So everyone's like, all right, what are the Chiefs going to do? They're looking super dangerous with Derrick Henry in the backfield. He was running like 190 yards per game. For like the past 3 games, he was just having some monster games, and that was really giving them, an edge. Like, no one could tackle him, is essentially what it was. Like, he was unstoppable, you could say. But yeah, in this game, he struggled. Well, he only got 19 carries this game, and only averaged 3.6 yards per carry, while Ryan Tannehill threw for 31 times. Tannehill had actually had a pretty good game. He threw for 2 touchdowns and a little over 200 yards, but this wasn't enough to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. Anyways, had I predicted this game, well, actually, I changed it up. So in my last videos, I would use 5 metrics to actually predict games, but in this one, I changed it up to 7. Well, because we're getting into more like bigger games, so there's less games. So I was like, all right, let's try to actually really like dig in and really try to predict these ones correctly. So the ones I chose were I kept rush attempts and rush yards because I think that's super important. Sacks taken, I added points per game. That's one thing I wasn't accounting for the Chiefs. Like the amount of points that they can score is just insane. And as for sacks, I kept sacks because I think that's a super important statistic. And then for interceptions, I kept interceptions, and then I also added opponent points per game. This has a nice counterpoint, I guess. I can't think of the word, but a nice something nice to go with points per game, opponent points per game. So just very general statistics to actually judge teams' offense and defense. So in this game, the Chiefs are better in 5 out of the 7 metrics. So I would have predicted the Chiefs to win this game. They take less sacks. They can score more points. They've gotten a few more sacks. They get more interceptions, and their opponents score less per game. So the Titans obviously are the better rushing team with the rushing leader in the NFL and Derrick Henry. In this game, I think what they were trying to do is since Derrick Henry was so hot, I guess the Titans figured that the Chiefs would focus him, so the Chiefs and the Titans only ran the ball, only gave the ball to Derrick Henry 19 times. I feel like had they stuck to their guns, they might have had a better shot in this game. Since Derrick Henry couldn't pop off, their offense kind of stagnated. He was a majority of their offense. And then Patrick Mahomes obviously had a really good game. Had a really good completion percentage above, what is that? He threw 23, completed 23 out of 35 passes. I'm just curious. Calculation real quick. 66% completion percentage, pretty good. Threw for 3 touchdowns. He also had a really nice run. He also had a really nice rushing touchdown. So that was pretty nice. And it's actually funny in this game the Chiefs had more carries than the Titans did. It's like, what? The Chiefs are a more pass-centric team, but they ran the ball more than the Titans. So I don't know what it is about this postseason. The Ravens, for example, is not running. Like, it's the biggest game of the season, and they just don't do what they're good at. And the Titans as well. I guess the Titans, they didn't want to. They wanted, since they thought they were going to focus on Derrick Henry, they tried to throw the ball more, but it didn't quite work out for them. They actually had a good game, but just the Chiefs just were scoring too much. But yeah, next we'll move on to the NFC Championship, and that was between the Niners and the Packers. And this game was kind of interesting because the regular season matchup between the Niners and the Packers was not pretty for the Packers. I think it was like 38-7. I think was the final score. It wasn't pretty. The Niners just kind of blew them out, and so this game was kind of like a chance for redemption for the Packers. Um, they had a lot of work to do because the Niners obviously are really solid. Niners ended up winning this game, but on the Packers they put up a better fight than they did in the regular season. But this game, oh my gosh, it's really showing me the importance of running in football. Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball 8 times in this game. He threw the ball a single-digit number of times in the NFC Championship, and they won by a lot. Don't get me wrong, Aaron Rodgers had a really good game. Completed 31 out of 39 passes, which is 75%. Almost 80% completion percentage for Aaron Rodgers. But it wasn't enough. He still ended up throwing 2 interceptions, and he lost a fumble. So he still had 3 turnovers, even though he had a really monster passing game. Where Jimmy Garoppolo just gets to sit back and throw the ball 8 times and let Raheem Mostert just run the ball 30 times and get 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. So that's what I'm talking about. I feel like running the ball is just so good. And the Packers, their run game is not bad. They got Aaron Jones, who's been really solid for them. He's actually been a pretty good receiving back as well. But yeah, they just don't run the ball as much as the 49ers. And the 49ers were the second best team in the league at running behind the Ravens. And they've been really solid in the postseason. When they took out and they did the same thing against the Vikings in the divisional round. Yeah, they only threw the ball 19 times and rushed 47. But in this game, they just took it to the extreme, only throwing the ball 8 times. And that makes it real easy, on the quarterback. All right, how many times? All right, so Garoppolo only got sacked 1 time, and he threw 0 interceptions. So, just limiting turnovers, and but still having that passing threat. So it's not like he threw 0 times, but every once in a while, when the defense, expects a run, and then boom, you hit him over the top. So that's why I feel like that offense is pretty nice. Actually. Running the ball a lot, and then having a limited amount of throws. I'm not 100% sure. I think that might be associated to the term like a West Coast offense. I mean, I heard it in a few videos. So, I think that might be related to that, but I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, yeah, 49ers had a really solid game. When it comes to predicting this game, dang, maybe this video is just to stroke my ego, just so I can be like, yeah, I would have predicted the Niners and the Chiefs to win. But anyways, most people have probably predicted the Niners and the Chiefs to win. I think I saw something that said it was like a 75% chance for the Chiefs to win. And the Niners, I'm not sure what the odds were, but they were probably pretty high too. Anyways, yeah, the Chiefs, they're in the top 5 in rush attempts and rush yards. They're in top 5 in points per game, top 5 in sacks, and they have less points for, and they they score less points, and their opponents score less points per game. So, but the Packers are really solid when it comes to interceptions. They're in top 5 when it comes to getting interceptions on the season. Yeah, so the Niners, they're better in 5. They're better in 5 of the 7 categories, but then they're equal on sacks taken at 36 on the season. Yeah, so the Niners, they had pretty solid odds to win this game. Their defense is really solid. Their run game is really solid, and their quarterback is good enough to be able to make some nice throws. Yeah, that was pretty good for them. So yeah, how long are we? We're about a 10-minute video so far. Okay, I'm not really too concerned about length. But when it comes to actually punting on this game, the Niners only punted twice compared to Green Bay punting 4 times. Yeah, the Niners, they're just really able to get a lot of first downs, not have to turn the ball over. And they didn't have to what's called go 3 and out. They were able to continue to quote unquote move the chains. And they got a few interceptions. Well, one of the interceptions was at the end of the game. Aaron Rodgers just threw a bomb down the field. Richard Sherman just picked it up. But then also when it comes to defense, the 49ers got 3 sacks. Nick Bosa gets another sack in this game and a tackle for loss. I mean, come on. Honestly, I'm kind of wondering, wait, how did the Niners get the number 2 overall pick and Nick Bosa, and then now they're in the Super Bowl? Wait, well, how did they? I'm just confused, and I think it's probably contributed to what's called Jimmy Garoppolo. He was coming off an injury, so he came back. So yeah, their team wasn't that good last season, but now this season they're top of the charts. And yeah, they're looking really solid. And when it comes to the Super Bowl now, very interesting. I feel like this is one of the most interesting Super Bowls I've seen in a while. So I feel like in all the other ones, it's just the Patriots every year. So not seeing them, I don't know why. It's kind of refreshing for me. I feel like they're just in it every season. But now Niners versus Chiefs. I mean, this seems so fresh to me. They actually had a matchup in the preseason. I think the Niners won way back in August. Yeah, in the preseason, Niners won 27-17. Anyways, if I had to do a prediction for the Super Bowl here, let me do it right now. So the Niners rush more. The Niners have more rush attempts and rush yards than the Chiefs. The Chiefs take less sacks. And when it comes to points per game, the Niners score. Both are in top 5 in scoring points per game, but the Niners are they score about 2 more points per game. When it comes to sacks, the Niners are ahead by 3 on the season. Their defensive line is pretty good, and the Chiefs get more interceptions. The Chiefs are in top 5 in interceptions on the season. And when it comes to opponents' points per game, the Chiefs, they're about equal, but the Chiefs is slightly less, 19.3 compared to 19.4. So the Chiefs' defense overall has been slightly better on the season. So yeah, if I had to predict this game, I would predict the 49ers to win because they rush better. They have a better running game. They scored slightly more points per game, and then they've gotten slightly more sacks. When it comes to interception, the Chiefs have more, but since the Niners don't throw as much, the Chiefs, I'd expect them not to throw that many interceptions. Then when it comes to taking sacks, since the Niners don't throw as much, I assume they'd take less sacks. In the game, I'm not sure, but just in general, the less you throw, the less sacks you'll take. You can't sack a running back. At least I don't think. Anyways, yeah. Chiefs obviously are really solid, though. I think they'll obviously still have a really good chance to win. Honestly, it should be a really good game when it comes to points per game and opponents' points per game. They're pretty even. So this will be a good one. If I had to root for someone, I'll definitely be rooting for the Niners because they're in the NFC. And I'm a Bucks fan, so I'm from Tampa, so I'm a Bucks fan. And they're in the NFC, so yeah, I would root for the NFC team. The Rams let us down last season. I feel like had the Saints gone to the Super Bowl, they might have had a better shot. The Rams, they're supposed to be good, but they just I don't even know what happened that season. But that's a whole other can of worms that I won't get into. So if I had to predict the Super Bowl, I'd predict the Niners to win. Um, that's all I got for this video. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.